Minister McKenzie, I didn't know that you regard those who think that you are happy as being liars. Because today you told us the truth that they are liars because they are not telling the truth. The real truth is that you are very, very happy to be minister. Now, when I called Minister McKenzie, as we were putting together the government, I called him 3 times. First, I called him and said, the Secretary General is talking to all parties, and I'd like you to be on hand to receive the Secretary General's calls. And he said, no, don't worry, President, we'll be ready. So I called him again, and just to keep him warm, because I was ensuring that the GNU does take off.
The political fault lines in South Africa are widening. Gayton McKenzie accuses Cyril Ramaphosa of betrayal, while the DA calls for an urgent reset in relations. Is the government of national unity on the brink of collapse? Let's break down the fallout from the signing of the Expropriation Act. Greetings, my fellow Africans, and welcome back to Inkari It's Time. I'm Kondus, and today we're diving into the political chaos following the signing of the Expropriation Act. Gayton McKenzie's fierce accusation against President Cyril Ramaphosa are just the tip of the iceberg. The DA is also stepping in, calling for a major shift in the government of national unity. Let's take a closer look at the growing tension within the coalition and what this means for South Africa's future. On January 23, 2025, President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the highly contentious Expropriation Act into law. This move has sparked backlash across the political spectrum, but none more vocal than Gayton McKenzie, leader of the Patriotic Alliance. McKenzie has accused Cyril Ramaphosa of betraying his coalition partners by signing the act without prior consultation. McKenzie's words were direct, open quote, "President Ramaphosa disrespected us. This is no way to treat us. He didn't even have the courtesy to call us," close quote. His frustration was palpable, particularly after he learned of the act signing without any heads up from the president or the ANC. For McKenzie, this was a betrayal, open quote, "You will never treat me like that," close quote, he declared in a passionate address to supporters. But McKenzie isn't alone in his criticism. The Democratic Alliance has also been vocal about the Expropriation Act. In fact, DA leader John Steenhuisen has called for an urgent reset in relation between the ANC and his party, particularly over the way the Expropriation Act was handled. Steenhuisen has formally written to Ramaphosa, invoking Section 19 of the Statement of Intent. This section outlined that sufficient consensus exists when parties representing 60% of the seat in the National Assembly agree on a matter. Steenhuisen pointed out that under the GNU, the only parties that make up these 60% are the ANC and the DA. The fact that Ramaphosa didn't inform or consult the DA before signing the act has raised serious concerns. According to Clause 20 of the Statement of Intent, if sufficient consensus isn't reached, the GNU must establish dispute resolution mechanisms. Steenhuisen emphasized that Ramaphosa must recognize that his party, the ANC, is now just one minority partner in the coalition, with the DA holding substantial influence. For Steenhuisen, this means the DA deserves to be consulted on key decisions, and the lack of consultation over the Expropriation Act signal a breakdown in the partnership.
However, after a very promising start whereby President Ramaphosa delayed the implementation of the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act to enable negotiations to continue, recent weeks have made it increasingly clear that the ANC has lost interest in honouring its side of our relationship and statement of intent. Unfortunately, the ANC has taken to openly disrespecting coalition partners and undermining the very trust upon which a coalition agreement is built. In his statement at the January 8th anniversary, President Ramaphosa was quoted as saying that although the ANC failed to secure 50% plus one in the elections, the ANC is still in charge. Just today, the President opened the ANC's Lekgotla by saying that the GNU exists to implement the NDR, the National Democratic Revolution. Now, not only is a statement like this incorrect, it is immature, but it also does not accord to the letter and spirit of the statement of intent. Unfortunately, however, it does accord with behavior of recent weeks. In the last week, the President not only disregarded the very serious constitutional objections raised by the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Minister Gayton McKenzie, over the Expropriation Bill, but he failed to even have the courtesy to inform the Minister about when he intended to sign the bill into force. Similarly, a few weeks ago, I personally wrote to the President about the contentious National Health Insurance Act, which, despite the fact that it was raised very clearly in the negotiations going into the agreement, despite the fact that there was agreement by all parties that there would be continued negotiations about it, we're met with TV screens at airports rolling out that the NHI is here.
So what does this all mean? The Expropriation Act, designed to guide how and when expropriation can happen, has turned into a political flashpoint. While some view it as an essential step in addressing land reform, others, like McKenzie and the DA, feel sidelined by the process. The fallout is evident, with McKenzie accusing Ramaphosa of betrayal and the DA calling for an urgent reset in relations. The government of national unity is under increasing strain, and it's unclear how long this fragile alliance can hold together. The political turmoil surrounding the Expropriation Act is far from over, with figures like Gayton McKenzie and John Steenhuisen speaking out against Ramaphosa. We are seeing the cracks in the government of national unity widen. If Ramaphosa doesn't address these concerns and find a way to rebuild trust with his partners, we could be looking at a major shift in South African politics.
President Cyril Ramaphosa signed the land expropriation bill into law late last week, kicking off an absolute firestorm of political parties slamming the new law. The DA is absolutely furious. Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure Gayton McKenzie posted that no land expropriation without compensation would happen under his watch. And then, hilariously, his deputy minister, Sihle Zikalala, who used to be Public Works Minister before being relegated to deputy for McKenzie under the ANC and DA's governance agreement, Zikalala posted a recorded speech with the caption, "Ministers take an oath that says they will obey, observe and uphold the laws of South Africa. Therefore, a minister cannot decide otherwise." He's literally subtweeting his boss on Main. Girl, you work for him. And then he doubled down. Zikalala posted again, this time saying, in South Africa, we have those who were oppressed and those who were oppressors. Those who were oppressors would want to maintain the status quo and frustrate the process of transformation. And you know exactly what and who he is referring to there. Can you imagine the department's work WhatsApp group today? Tense. The DA has made what they call a formal Government of National Unity dispute in order to reset relations between GNU partners by invoking Clause 19 of the GNU Statement of Intent, which states that decisions in the GNU must be taken by sufficient consensus amongst the parties. The problem for the DA is that the GNU Statement of Intent is not a legally binding document. In fact, it's just a glorified Word doc, which everybody said sure fine to when forming a government. It's a promise ring, not a prenup. All the DA is really saying is, we can't believe you've done this and we may walk from the GNU over actions like this. But Ramaphosa is calling their bluff again, because here's the thing. He has called their bluff before and won. Recently, the Betrayal Act was signed against the DA's wishes. South Africa's official positions on Russia, Ukraine and Israel-Palestine have remained the DA's positions, rather the ANC's positions, not the DA's. And now the Land Expropriation Act. The only reasonable conclusion to draw is that Ramaphosa is winning the GNU. Whether you support him or you're against him, the simple truth is that he is having it all his own way, and he and the ANC are winning the GNU. John Steenhuisen can say that the DA won't be reduced to spectators in the government all he likes, but they kind of already have been, unless they're willing to do something drastic, which they're clearly not. So now we wait to see if they can change that dynamic.
What do you think? Should Ramaphosa have consulted his coalition partners before signing the Expropriation Act? Is the government of national unity on the brink of collapse? Or is this just another bump in the road? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to Inkari. It's time for more updates on South Africa's political landscape. Stay informed, stay empowered, and always navigate life with purpose. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.